yeah, there are so many things that feels like it was wasted. Like the story itself hasn't reached its full potential in my. I don't know what happened. Like I'm really clueless in that specific moment. I feel like that the journey of Rover itself hasn't even started. Welcome. So everyone is talking about the new 1.3 story. I've actually just finished the story itself and I've seen quite a mixed response. Some are glazing the story that it is the best story that Wu has released, and the other side of the coin is that some says that the story itself is pretty bad. So, in my case, I've actually enjoyed the story itself, but there are things that I hope Kuro did to make the story even better. Before we talk about those things, let's proceed first on the things that I've enjoyed in the 1.3 story. First off is the music. I believe the music in this patch is really good, that it actually carries the whole story. So, we all believe, and I believe everyone knows that 1.0 and 1 to 1.2 music is kinda eh at best, in my opinion. So, them focusing on improving the music itself is actually really huge, and the step is actually pretty huge since um we are in this level. So yeah, we are in this low level in terms of music compared to other gacha games, and then we jump really high, which is kind of huge in my opinion, since um I didn't think that the music in Wuthering Waves will improve this much. The OSTs, the fight scenes, the default music in the Black Shore itself is pretty huge. And yeah, I really love the music in this new patch. Moving on to the next one, which is the new area. In my opinion, the new area is gorgeous. It's pretty. It has its own. I wouldn't say unique. It has its Kuro touch in it, like the sci-fi aspect. Since the previous patch, we have a more like a fantasy-ish vibe compared to being a sci-fi or like a futuristic vibe in the previous patch that we have. So I think that's pretty good since Blackshore itself is a more futuristic area and that it gives more like variation. Like the first region, I'm not sure if it's a Blackshore is a different region, but yeah, the first region is more of like a fantasy vibe feeling, yet it has that post-apocalyptic theme, and we have the sci-fi theme. And yeah, I really enjoyed how the world looks like and looking forward to explore since I really want to finish this video as fast as I can. And yeah, moving on to the next one, which is the cinematics and the cutscenes. So it is also one of the things that Kuro improved. I believe the cutscenes and cinematics in the previous patches that we have is, I mean it's alright, but yeah, I think the 1.0 to 1.2 animation is kind of good in my opinion, but the animation in the cutscenes are really smooth and fluid, which is they really step up in their cinematics animation and cutscenes, which is I really liked, and also give a overall good impression to me when I'm doing the overall story itself. Now that we have finished the positive side of the review, let's now proceed to the mixed side of the review. First, I believe the special events or like the special scenarios that we have in the story can be improved in my opinion. So, what am I talking about? What special event? So, I'm talking about the lament timer. Okay? So, the lament timer is way too like overstretched in my opinion. So, I believe being on edge on this kind of things or specific scenes actually makes the game more engaging, or the story more engaging, in my opinion, since we all know that we're not going to die in this specific scene. Like, for example, the Jinsi scene we have with Jue, right? That quick time event. We all know that we're not going to die in the specific scene, so we already know in this scene also that it doesn't matter. So like the thrill is gone. So also in like the skiing scene that we have, like the lasers doesn't even hit us. Like if we don't follow this specific quick time event, it will just do it on its own. So it's just a shame, in my opinion, because like those scene is makes you more engaged and thrilled, but it removes that feeling since the game saves you and lets you proceed to the next scene without the consequence of not being able to engage more in that specific scene. So let's move on to the juiciest part of the review, which is the story. So really think that the story itself should have been splitted into two. The first part could have been the part wherein Shorekeeper just disappeared in front of us. So yeah, I think having that like small pause, like you can just make it like 2 days or even a day of pause, makes your players to take their time to process what just happened in the previous scenes or the earliest parts of the stories, because as we all know, we only know or we only remembered those piano scenes with Shorekeeper, which is so your if you play this in 2 days, I think the story itself will have more impact to you. But since I've played it in one playthrough, the pacing for me is a little bit off, which is one of the things that I'm not really happy about, since it happened too fast for me, in my opinion. But the story itself, like the lines, is pretty good. Like how they delivered the romance genre, which is not what everyone is expecting with the new patch of the game. But there are scenes in the story, even though, like, I've enjoyed the story as a whole, there are parts wherein the rover should have been voiced. Like the whole conversation with the Thetis system. The last scene that we have with Shorekeeper should have been voiced, and it could have been better, in my opinion. Like, yeah, there are so many things that feels like it was wasted. Like the story itself hasn't reached its full potential, in my opinion. So I mean, it is what it is. It is a shame, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I think the overall story, I really enjoy it. Some people might not enjoy it, since basing on the points that I made a while ago, pacing is a little bit fast, in my opinion. Some people might not like the romance genre of the game. And also, I want to talk about here. I want to talk about this part, the last part where we saved Shorekeeper. I don't know what happened. Like, I'm really, really clueless in that specific moment. I don't know how Shorekeeper or like the Thetis system was saved. Like, both of them was fixed and saved at the same time without something being sacrificed. I don't know if I missed it, but yeah, after that, I was like, what is happening? So yeah, I think that's, they could have presented that last part better, in my opinion. But yeah, there's a lot of miss in terms of story, but I feel like the 1.0 up patch that we have, that we will be having, is more of like an introduction to the world of Wuthering Waves itself, since we actually haven't like started. I feel like that the journey of Rover itself hasn't even started. More of like a brief introduction of the world itself, like what is happening in the world, what are the things in order to be able to prevent these disasters and everything. And also, we're uncovering who is Rover still up to this point, and we don't know or what is the main plot of the story, for me, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm really looking forward on how the story of Wuthering Waves will unfold. Yeah, here is my overall review of the Wuthering Waves 1.3. Let me know what do you think about my points and share your thoughts in the comments down below. Yeah, that's all. Peace.